Hi guys. I just wanted to start with a bit of a statement. Obviously, I haven't been around, and I think it goes without saying how thankful and appreciative I am to the entire organization, right from ownership to management to coaches, especially the players. They have been extremely respectful, grateful, or I've been extremely grateful. They've been more than helpful and especially supportive through this time for me and my family. It's hasn't been easy by any means, but I need to say how thankful I am to the organization for their help through these last couple months. You know, it goes without saying that we are a family inside that dressing room, and especially this organization. And I think on the outside, people don't always see how much we actually care for each other and how far that goes. So I wanted to come out and obviously speak and just publicly thank the organization, because it's made a world of a difference in me and my family's life in the last couple months. You know, I respect you guys' questions that I'm sure are going to come, and I understand them. It comes with the nature of our business and what we do. With saying that, you know, my personal life, and I guess it's kind of weird because I have been pretty forthcoming with a lot of aspects of my personal life and things that I've gone through in my past throughout my career, and this would probably be one of those situations that I'm going to keep it to myself. You know, my family is walking this walk with me and understands fully what's been going on, and the organization has and does as well. And so for me, you know, in both those two very important groups in my lives understand what's been going on, that's enough for me. So I'm going to keep those things personally to me and my family and the team. I know that you guys are going to have the follow-up questions and things like that. And, you know, I will say that I am vaccinated, and I'm following all the protocols right now that are in place until that process is done. I'm here. I'm excited to be here. I'm proud to be a Canuck. This has been an extremely difficult time for me the last little while. And I appreciate, you know, like I said, your guys' wanting to know what's been going on, but I certainly appreciate even more that you guys have been respectful of me and my family and our privacy in this and through this process. So I thank you guys for that. You know, I won't necessarily get into more questions with those things, other than to say that, you know, everyone thinks people know what they're going through. You think, you know, everyone likes to think they walk a mile in someone's shoes and they understand what's going on in their lives. You know, that's certainly not the case for any walk of life, really, to say that you understand fully what someone is going through or what they've been through. So I guess in those respects, I'd like to probably not follow up on those. But with saying that and pivoting, I mean, I haven't talked to you guys very much last year. I didn't talk to you guys since the end of the season, since I've signed my contract. You know, so I'm free to answer any other question, even though I hope that I was able to touch on some of the burning ones that I would imagine you guys had. But at the end of the day, I do appreciate that you guys have respected this throughout this process and continue that going forward.
Travis, sorry. The environment that we're living in the last couple of years because of the pandemic, people get painted with different brushes with the same brushes, and because there's been a lack of transparency, I think, you know, people may portray you as being an anti-vaxxer and all the rest of it. What's been the most difficult side of things from you? We haven't been able to tell your story because we haven't heard it, but there's so much misinformation in this world. You're trying to provide us with some clarity, but what's been the most difficult part, and what do you want everyone to know the most about your situation? Because everyone has a different situation, right, for what they're going through. And I respect what you're saying about the privacy, and I get it. Mm-hmm. But I think people are also getting portrayed in an unfair light because of maybe not saying what's going on.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we live in obviously a very politically charged world right now. I know that. You know, to the response to your question, I think I would say I'm just me. You know, me and my family and I have been going through a lot. you can probably hear it in my voice right now. This isn't an easy thing for me to be doing, but I understand it needs to be done. But, I would just revert back to my statement, and everyone thinks they know what someone is going through, and maybe we're all very quick as society to judge people. And I don't know, maybe we should look at it with the glass half full instead of half empty, and try to see the good in people and what they're going through and why they're going through those things and how it's affecting them, instead of necessarily trying to paint every single individual into one corner when no one even knows a remote percentage of what the full picture really looks like and why things are done. And it's tough. Like I said, I've been very forthcoming with a lot of aspects of my life, but this is something that's pretty personal, and people can have the opinions. Like everyone has the right to their opinion. Everyone has the right to decide what they think is right about someone or a situation. But I think maybe we should just, as a society, always kind of just take a step back and say, okay, do we understand what this person is going through, or what has happened in that person's life, or whatever the case may be about any walk? And how do we maybe not rush into things and judgments and things like that? So, but that was a long-winded answer. But I guess my biggest takeaway would just be that, I'm just me. That's, I'm just trying to do what's right for me and my family and get through this time. And I'm happy to be here. I mean, it's the hardest part about this, what I've been going through is that I haven't been around. Today was one of the best days I've had in a long time, being on the ice with the guys and being back out there. I mean, that's the funnest part of my life, is being a hockey player. So I'm happy to be here right now.
Travis, when you re-signed in the summer, did you know that there were going to be these challenges ahead of you?
No.
Travis, in your statement, you said that you are vaccinated and then added, and I'm following the guidelines until that process is complete. Protocols, the league's protocols are very specific about what constitutes a vaccinated individual and an unvaccinated individual. Are you still in the process of gaining vaccinated individual status under NHL protocols?
I will follow the protocols, and I'm just going to revert back to my first statement on that one. Thank you.
When do you ultimately see yourself playing a game for the first time?
I don't know. That one's for greener. I played on the weekend in Abbotsford, and I felt good. It was nice to get a game. It's obviously been since last, I guess, May when we played last. So I feel good. I've been training. Physically, I feel like I'm ready to go. My wind's good, and my puck skills and skating, all the attributes that would bring, for me to be a good hockey player, I feel like are there and ready. And whenever Greener and his staff think I'm ready to come in and help the team, it's a coach's decision at this point. But if you're asking me, I'd like to play right away. Yeah.
As you mentioned off the top, the support you felt from the organization, including your teammates. But having spent so much of your life in a team culture, how hard was it to not be with them at the start? And did you worry whether they would accept you back when the time came?
I never worried. Everyone's known what's been going on. So I've been met with a ton of support and help and guidance from the organization top down. So no, to answer your question, that wasn't a worry of mine. The second part of your question, yeah, it sucked. I'm a hockey player. This is what I've done my entire life. And, when you're going through a hard time in your personal life, you really want to be in areas where, you're not thinking, you're happy. You're doing what makes you tick, and you're doing what makes you feel good, and then you obviously hope that transpires, right, and carries over. And so it's obviously difficult that I haven't been around, but I'm ready to move forward. I'm here. I'm come in and be ready to rock. I mean, for me, it's an exciting time to be able to join the team again and be here and get on the ice and just do what I do. And quite frankly, I'm still pretty new to the market. Last year was my first year here, and it was kind of a stranger year, obviously, with how things are. So I'm really excited to, be on the home side of things with the crowd and really experience Vancouver as, as I don't know what the proper term is, Vancouver, right? I'm not sure what it is, but
That's it.
yeah, okay, good. I'm excited to to do that. We were trick or treating last night, and my little guy had his Canucks jersey on as a hockey player, and it was you can see how much support the team has in the city. So for me, I'm excited about that.
Were you always confident through this conflict that you had that this day would come, or did it cross your mind that maybe you wouldn't play hockey this season or beyond?
Yeah, that's a very good question, and I guess the best answer I would have for you is I just took everything day to day. I think I'm someone that just personally likes to always try to look at the bigger picture and see what's going to happen about 9 years from now, right? And that's something that I've always kind of been like, and I think I'm someone that needs to always just kind of stay in the now and kind of focus on what's going on day to day. I knew that I wanted to get back. I wanted to be playing. But sometimes, I've said this in the past with some of the things I've gone through in my life. Sometimes, as much as you love your job and as much as you love this game and as much as I've loved being a hockey player my whole life, there's life outside of hockey. And sometimes it hits. And sometimes you just got to kind of deal with those things and focus on them. And know that you got a pretty good organization that has their hands open, waiting to welcome you back, like they have. So that's made this process so much easier for me. Knowing the support that I've had right from the top, right on down, it's made a huge difference for me.
Travis, before you joined Abbotsford on the weekend, can you just give us a sense, how much ice were you able to get? Have you been skating, and where do you think you are conditioning wise?
Yeah, I feel good. I've been training. I obviously put the work in this summer. I think it was really important for me to have a good summer training. I'm not old by any means, but in the NHL, you want to make sure that when you get on this side of 30, that you start making sure that you're training and skating. And so I skated a lot more than maybe in the last couple of years when I was going, this summer training. And I've been able to stay in shape. So I feel like, the jumping back in Abbotsford and that transition, physically, I felt good. My lungs felt good. My legs felt good. Hands, everything like that felt good. And then it was nice to get in the game in. And then, obviously get on the ice today. And you guys watched practice, but I thought I felt pretty good.
Last year, obviously different circumstances, but you joined the team on basically opening day without a training camp, and you hadn't played in the summer bubble. Now all of this.
Getting away from the 40s.
What did you learn from jumping on board on opening night last year, and how tough is it when everybody else has had a training camp and a preseason and now a month of hockey?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Last year it was it was kind of crazy how quick everything transpired, but I felt ready to go last year. I think what was hard last year is that before joining the Canucks, I'd been on the island for 7+ years, and then I went to Calgary, and I was there for 3 years. And I think I'm someone, when I'm at my best, and I think as the season progressed, you could see that when my play transpired that way on the ice, was that when I'm comfortable in my surroundings, comfortable in my systems with the coaching staff, comfortable especially with my teammates, both on and off the ice, is kind of when you see me at my best on the ice. And so I think at the start of the year last year, there was just a lot of moving parts happening all at once. And, I ended up breaking my ribs, and then I think I was out for 4 or 5 weeks. And in a weird way, that was probably one of the better things that happened, because I was able to really just spend a lot of time around my teammates and watch a lot of games to really understand Travis's system and how he wants us to play as a team, so that when I was able to get on the ice, it was second nature for me. And I think that kind of, showed as the season progressed. So to your question about, jumping in right now, I physically I feel good, but I think more in the room, my relationships with my teammates and the coaching staff are really good and fully established, and obviously we have some new players. I'm excited to get to know them, but overwhelmingly for the majority of the people in the organization, I have a pretty good relationship and a very good relationship with, and one that's developed over the last year or two. So for me, worrying about all those things are are kind of on the back burner now for me, and I know what's expected of me as a player, and in that dressing room, I know what's expected of me, and I think that's when you can see me at my best is when I'm most comfortable, and certainly am right now.
Travis, we live in a very macho-type world, and we're not accustomed to seeing players being hugged at practice. What did it mean to you? I mean, we saw those exchanges before practice started. I can't imagine what that felt like. What did it mean to you?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, it's I don't know. I go back to what I said at the start. You know, we're a family in there, and it's from top to bottom. You know, I think that's a culture that's bred in our organization, and to see how welcoming everybody is. And to your point earlier about, you know, coming back and knowing that I was going to be supportive, I knew that I was going to be the entire time. But then when you get out there and you just feel like, honestly, the best answer I could have for you is you just almost feel like you don't skip a beat, you know, and was able to jump right back into the room and on the ice and you know, kind of chirping with some guys and seeing, you know, those camaraderies that you have, I think is what you miss so much when you're not around. But yeah, it obviously felt good to get some hugs out there and just be out there. I think with the guys, I think was a really good moment for me. Yeah.
Does it make it easier because as much as you were granted a leave of absence, you've had some challenges within your family health-wise. Did that make it easier? Because I'm sure what has happened on the home front has been challenging over the last number of months, if not.
Yeah, it's you know, it's no secret. I've obviously gone through a lot in my life, and you know, I'm stronger every time I go through something, and this is the case as well. But I have an amazing support system with my family at home, my wife and 2 kids, my mom, my brother, you know, my sisters. I got a very good support system around me, and obviously with the organization and my faith. You know, I know that God has guided me through. That's the biggest thing that's kind of pulled me through these last couple months is my faith. And God just guiding me. I think that's when you don't really know what's coming around the corner, you know that you have things in God's hands and you know you'll be okay. And so that's probably been the most comforting aspect of it for me. But to come back in and see that, it's been nice. It's ready to, you know, move forward and get playing and do what I can to help the organization and the team win. You know, I like to be out there and doing those things to help the team, and I think that's when I'm at my best and when I'm having the most fun.